And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. I'm Gary Culp. I'm your host. Hey, thanks for being with us today. Glad you're here, ladies and gentlemen. Happy that you are listening. It is Wednesday, June 25th, 2025. Hope you're having a good day. Ladies and gentlemen, in case you don't know, this is serious talk on everything that affects you. We'll talk the markets, the economy, your job, your industry. Socialism, Marxism, and communism. Oh, yes. We're going to bring up the scam of those three and the con that they try to perpetrate on an unwary public. We must bring that up today because I'm sure you have heard about what happened in New York City yesterday. We'll get into that, and we'll do it bluntly. And if you don't get this radio show in your city, we'll post it at GaryK.com. We'll also post it on our Twitter feed. And if you don't follow us on Twitter, which is now X, by the way, you should. And if you'd like to email us, just be nice. Really. All you got to do is be nice. It's pretty simple. We'll be nice back to you. Okay. So we've tried to describe things for you on this show. Those that are members of our little peepdom, we do webcasts every night and we show you the markets and what we're seeing and how we're seeing them and all that funky stuff. And every now and then you get outlier events both up and down. Those who have followed this show know we have guided you out when needed to be out. We're not just talking the market as a whole. We're talking sectors and individual stocks of importance. Those who have followed this show know that on January 5th of 24, and I'm isolating one little thing, we said to you, if this happens, buy the living hell out of it. We use those words. And that happened to be the breakout in NVIDIA, which just so happened on that Monday, and the stock went up 90% in a matter of 2 months. We had said to you, for 6 months it was range-bound, found the low 3 times, rallied up, made a higher low, tightened up near the highs, and then busted out. That was outlier. You don't see great-looking things very often, which led us recently to NVIDIA again. What? Yes. So we have discussed with you that NVIDIA hit a low last June around 140. Dropped to 100, rallied to 131, dropped to 100, rallied to 144, traded around between 125 and about 152 for a bunch of weeks, and then the market crumbled, Joe tariffs, and it had this big drop, big reversal, and the big move off the lows on the taco pause of the big tariffs from Liberation Day. I can't even believe I say these things, taco pause of Liberation Day, but these are facts. And ever since, the stock has not really jumped higher, but slowly but surely. But in May, you had 3 strong days up where institutions were definitely buying it. And then you had the China day where everything gapped up when the President Trump did another taco with China, where he took the things from 145% down to who the hell even knows where they are right now. And recently we had said to you, just letting you know that NVIDIA is getting close to those old highs again. And the old highs were in November and January. We're going to just say 153. Twice. Another time it hit 149. But crazy action back and forth. And remember, last year the high was 140. So in the last week or so, we've been saying to, just so you know, if it breaks above these levels, we don't think it's going to be like January 8th of 24. Simply put, the stock is 3 times as big. It's got like a $3.5 trillion market cap. You know, it's not so easy to go from 1 point something to 3.5, but it gets a lot tougher from 3.5 on. But we said to you that we do expect, and of course you need the market to cooperate. Remember, I can give you 10 stocks that break out a range today, but if the market tops out tomorrow, they're going to take them all down. Anyway, yesterday, NVIDIA edged above a little. Today, closing high. Not only a closing high, but an all-time high. Volume wasn't magnificent, but it definitely was better than recent. So let me give you the disclaimer. We bought back in on the move. If it fails, we get out with small losses. If the market cooperates, we think it's going to go higher. How much, we don't know. No way 90%. We don't even think 50 or 40. We'll take 20. And it's not a guarantee. It can fritter it away tomorrow. Market can top out, sell off the semiconductors, and goodbye. Remember, anything is possible. You need to know that. Anything is possible. That's how we look at things. But we just want to let you know. It made that move today. We're not telling you to buy, sell, short, or cover. And since we're covering it, we wanted a full disclosure that we did buy some today. We didn't buy a ton. And we'll see if it works. The semiconductors have been strong. We'll see if it works. After the close, Micron came out with good numbers, beat estimates. Stock's been strong, and it's up another $7 in the aftermarket. That helps, I guess. We'll see. Again, tomorrow's another day. We trust nothing until it works. But we wanted to start with that because we have been saying to you recently how it was setting up again. And boy, oh boy, do we hope it sticks. Boy, oh boy, would we be happy if it sticks. And that's the story out of the get-go. The market today, we'll call it nondescript. The Dow was down 106 because, well, let's see. McDonald's. The stock had topped out recently and is going lower. We were always wondering recently, the stock was on the stronger side with -6 +1, -4, -1 earnings growth and sales growth. You ready? 0, 3, 0, -3. It's rolled over. What else is weak in the Dow? Well, United Health still sucks. And that's 2,000 Dow points in the last 8 weeks. Visa and MasterCard on the weak side right now. Those two great bookies. The story goes, is this stable coin going to affect them? Beats the hell out of me. All I know is those stocks are under pressure. The insurance stocks, little toppy here, if not more. Travelers was down 5 today. That's 30 some odd Dow points. Little toppy there. And we'll see what happens tomorrow. S&P was flat, though, and guess what? The NASDAQ up 61, NASDAQ 100 up 47. Why? Well, NVIDIA had a good day. The semiconductors had a good day, especially some of the big ones. And we'll see how Micron goes overnight. And Apple was up $1. Yay. Apple remains very weak. It's got some characteristics that it may want to stop its bearish phase and maybe turn up, but it has not happened yet. What else today? Yields were flat. Oil bounced. That would be normal after dropping 13% in 2 days. Advanced declines were mushy today. 2-to-1 negative on the New York. Almost 2-to-1 negative on the New York. Almost 2-to-1 negative on the NASDAQ. Small and mid caps, may I use the word, continue to suck. And we just avoid small and mid caps. If you're like one of these diversified people and you have a lot of large caps, it's okay to have some, but it's just not as strong. Up next, what else we got for you in the markets? And then, New York City. That's on Investor's Edge. Welcome once again to Investor's Edge. What else was strong today? The big banks. We've been telling you the big banks were getting money flows. JP Morgan's new yearly highs. Goldman Sachs has been rushing up pretty quickly. Bank of America, Citigroup, Morgan's, the big banks. And had another good day. Goldman Sachs up another 8. JP Morgan up almost 3. Big banks. For whatever reason, again, great bookies. And they are bookies, you know that. You give them money, they pay you nothing unless you demand. So that was a good day. But just mushy. I mentioned insurance stocks look a little toppy. Most of the staples, except for tobacco, don't ask me why. And even tobacco stocks got hit a little bit today. But staples not acting well. Most of the commodity names, and coal stocks, brutal bear market. We've been saying to you, the home builders had some characteristics that they don't want to go lower. Well, that's still, but it's still not getting out to the upside, off the lows. And what we do is just imagine a line going from 10 o'clock down to 4 o'clock. And then make a right turn and go flat at the bottom. That's what the home builders are doing now. They hit the transports a little bit today in the airlines, and we've been telling you, just by our own eyesight, that the airlines, demand is down. Just my opinion. I have been on a bunch of flights where there was a lot of seats. A lot of seats. And I've been on a bunch of flights where the premium seats were empty. You know how they charge you not for first class, but they got these premium seats right behind first class? Where you pay an extra, 40 or 50? So the airline stocks on the weak side here. Defense stocks, they're just up and down depending on the news of the Middle East. And medicals, I'd stay away from most of them too. So there's definite areas, the oils also, by the way, and we've been saying that for a long while. And interesting enough, most oil stocks did not rally up well as oil prices had gone vertical for a bit. And that be your story of the whole market today. Gold up a little bit. We said, no big deal. About 4 or 5 weeks ago, we think gold is going to go range bound. It just felt that way because it's had a good move. It is now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We're in the 10th week of range bound. And yesterday and today held the vital 50-day moving average. But it's range bound, which would mean gold miners, range bound. If they break out again, you will know it because we will let you know. And that is all. Some of the growth stocks got hit today. Down 1.5%, no big deal. Some of the AI stocks got hit today. 1.5%, not a big deal. Breakdowns, well, you know the weak areas. When I say breakdowns, I'm always looking for things that have been in shape but then break down. Not finding much of that. much in the way of that. We'll know a lot more about the market if that starts to occur. Some of the froth is coming off. That's actually good news. You know what I mean by the froth, right? How about the no sales nuclear stuff? Yeah, the froth is coming off. And that's good to see. Hopefully you're not the last one in. I'm always amazed when I see companies with no sales, with $7-8 billion market caps, and people are going on TV and telling you about them. I don't want to say it. Sometimes you got pundits that'll tell you about anything that moves, and that gets you in trouble eventually. Always be wary of the shouts and the touts of the crap. And ladies and gentlemen, there is a lot of crap out there in the markets. You know about all the meme stocks that are dead. You know about some of the crazy moves, and we still don't understand how it's happened. Remember Newsmax? By the way, this is not a put down on Newsmax, but they did an IPO at 10 and it went to $260 in a day and a half. And it's back to 12. You just got to be very, very careful. And I still remember, we've mentioned this before about these meme stocks. GameStop, in that heyday of memes, I got a call from a woman, I believe she had to be in her 70s or 80s. Should I buy GameStop? And I said, it's up sevenfold in the last whatever. It went going crazy. You really want to buy something that's sevenfold? Well, she said, what do you think? I go, I'm going to have to let you decide. I don't know. Well, you're not telling me what to do, she says. I said, I'm not going to tell you what to do. And she got mad at me. And then she saw that it was going up while we were on the phone, and she almost F-bombed me. And I'm hoping she didn't buy because the next day was the top. But people get caught up in the greed and changing their lives and stuff, and that's all well and good. That's all well and good, but you better have some discipline on the crazy stocks. And you got to know the mottos of the market. I didn't make these things up. The motto that eventually a no-sales company will go back to where it came from if nothing changes. And admittedly, we have told you there have been some no-sales biotechs bought out for billions of dollars. That has happened. But that's few and far between. There's also a ton of no-sales biotechs that overnight the placebo did better than the drug in phase 2 trial, and they dropped 60% overnight. I think I mentioned one to you that was down 90% overnight. It was like a $6 stock that opened up like at 80 cents. So be careful. And we're not telling you not to. By the way, if you catch these things early, you're going to make a lot of money. Some of these things have gone crazy. Here's one that no sales. Was $5 last September. It's 55 today. 11-fold. And they still have no sales. But still went up 11-fold because of an idea of nuclear. So careful. It's easy to lose a heck of a lot of money in the markets. Up next, a little bit more, and then we unleash. I'm Gary. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. Hey, yo. And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. Thanks for being with us today. You know what I did today? Let me give you an idea. I started listing things I either screwed up or didn't do over the last 2 months. I am my biggest critic. I'm always doing that. And the great news is I have this great software that allows me to go backwards to the charts of those days, and I go back and question myself on why not or why I did. Without mentioning names, I have a couple of names that I sold on a certain day, knowing they were the strongest big stocks coming out of the bear market and the crash. And I go over what I was thinking and the why, and how I can remedy that if it happens again. And then another part of that equation is, boy, how did I not buy that? It fit my trajectory. It fit my characteristics. The market's in shape, or at least trying. And I can give myself great excuses on the last 2 months. You know what the excuses are? The threats of tariffs, which, by the way, is not the worst excuse. Do you know how many times the president went back and forth on tariffs? And the numbers and the products and the countries? Every day. So not easy to commit, but as I say to you on this show, these patterns show up all the time that define good action, great action, that in markets that are just in shape, not even sizzling, usually work pretty well. So far, I've written down two that I've sold, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 that I did not buy. But really, only 7. Because one of the names is IBM that actually fit the look. But I typically am not going to buy something that has no sales growth and earnings are down year over year, and it's got a 28 price earnings multiple. But it broke out at 270. It's 291. So I'll give myself a good excuse on that. On the fundamental side, did not fit the mold. But there were others that, yeah. And I'll do a little bit more of that tonight. That is what is post-analysis. You should do it in anything you do in life. Always look yourself over. Be your biggest critic before somebody else is. And yeah, there are a couple little harsh words thrown at myself in my little diary here. Also of note today, and here's some important things, ladies and gentlemen. ADP and Paychex, you know what they do, right? Well, Paychex, big, gargantuan breakdown today, down 10% on big volume. ADP follows suit, so those two stocks are done for now. I wrote that down. I mentioned you the staples. Insurance stocks, I don't like the way the insurance are acting. By the way, the staples, food and beverage and all that crap. Just really no bull markets there. I got a couple. Anheuser-Busch has been strong, but that topped out today. Monster Beverage has been strong, relatively. That looks like that topped out today. So the strong may have topped out, and the tobacco. But man, oh man, you look at stocks like Pepsi. Go look at Pepsi. What a freaking bear market. 180 to 128 in 10 months for a beverage company? That's not good. So the staples, stay away. Coal stocks, brutal. Go look at AMR. Brutal bear markets in the coal. Go look at BTU. Go look at HCC. Brutal bear markets. So there's definitive areas still to avoid. And as we tell you, we never touch bear market stocks. No interessante on bear market stocks. So that's a little bit of the market, which takes me to, boy, oh boy. So what if I told you there was a candidate and I will not make this up, these are true, that wants to abolish the police department, but now comes out and says, no, we just want to move money to the police department, to social services to help out criminals. What if I said that he wanted to abolish prisons? No, they don't want to abolish prisons, but they want to do better with the prisons. That's what they say now. They want to abolish medical bills and private health insurance, ban all guns, legalize prostitution. No, really. Have safe injection sites. You know, you go to these places and inject yourself with heroin, but it's safe. End cash bail. Decriminalize drug possession. You can't have that heroin. Now you can. How about ending all cooperation with ICE? How about that? What if I told you there was a candidate that there was an election last night in New York City, and he is on to the next part of the election to be the mayor of New York City? Not to mention he wants to defund all Jewish charities or organizations. Has been known to blast Judaism and Israel and Jews. Wants to pay for all this by taxing the rich. The rich. New York City. Says that Trump is the enemy because he's an authoritarian. Trump the authoritarian. Interesting. So let's see. They want to run healthcare. They want the taxpayers to pay your medical bills if you can't afford. Handling criminals with social services instead of police. Don't worry about having heroin or crack. You will not be arrested. Raise taxes on the producers. But Trump's the authoritarian. Interesting. Yet this person got more votes than Cuomo, which tells you how unpopular Cuomo is. But I digress. There are definitions for socialism, Marxism. There are definitions for communism. Communism is being an authoritarian, running things. He's calling for, get this, government-run supermarkets. Government-run. But Trump's an authoritarian. Government-run housing. They're going to set the price on housing. But Trump is the authoritarian, they say. Interesting. How do people get sold on all this? How do people get sold on one man taking control of their lives and putting their lives at risk by getting rid of more and more police officers that protect you when things can be troublesome? You know, the numbers on the subways of New York City, crime has gone down a lot in the last bunch of months since they put the police much more on the subways. Up next, bow tying this, ladies and gentlemen. I won't be nice. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. So, people voted for They're calling them, the media will not use the words, a Democratic progressive. Some will call him a Democratic socialist. He got praised by Bernie Sanders and AOC and the rest of them. Well, I'm here to tell you, this man defines authoritarian. This man defines control freak. This man defines taking the decisions out of your hands. This man defines socialism, Marxism, communism, all rolled into one. He believes wealth must be shared. There is a big problem, though, ladies and gentlemen. Do you know what's happened in New York City in the last few years? The wealthy have headed for the hills. They've run out. They've said goodbye. Many billionaires have said, up yours, took out a certain finger and ran down to the Palm Beaches or south to Miami or Texas, where the wealth is treated like it should be, because wealth is earned. I know some people inherit it. Yes, I know. But wealth, for the most part, is earned with hard work and sweat and toil. And you know what else wealth does? It produces. It hires other people. It does all the good things that produce a good economy in any community or any city or any suburb or whatever. And over the last few years, a bunch of people have been chased out of there because they've been talked down to. Remember de Blasio, that numbskull? He said he is going to tax the living hell out of the wealthy. That was his own words. They left. Same thing going on in California. They left. They try to do a big wealth tax in Norway. They said they were going to raise all the money. Wealth left. And they ended up massive deficits because the wealth ran away. The wealth does not like getting the middle finger. What I don't understand is the guy's not shamed at all. He's not ashamed. He tells you who he is. And people are still voting for him. In Chicago, they had a major league socialist, Marxist, crazy woman as mayor who did nothing about crime. And they voted in somebody worse. I don't understand. What they sell you on is that your lot in life is where it is because they've held you down. But all they're going to do is hold you down. You know these high taxes they want to put on the wealthy? I got news for you. It ain't going to affect the wealthy. They're going to be gone, but it's going to prevent people from becoming wealthy as they move up their lot in life. The shame of it is Cuomo sucks also, just sucks less, except he got accused for some sexual harassment crap. He put people in nursing homes during COVID where the elderly died. So he's toast. Now there's an election in November, a general, and I guess the freaking mayor right now, he's going to be in there. Didn't he just get pardoned by Trump or something for some crap that he did? So it's a sea of nefarious. That's all I can tell you. But if this guy wins, Go check out the videos. He hates Jews. He hates Israel. He hates. Not even dislikes. He believes your money is the government's. He treats it that way. Socialism, Marxism, communism, it's all about control freakism. And they voted for the guy. I wish I could meet all these voters and give them 15 minutes of my time. Defund the police. Get rid of police. Defenders of your life. You know, I was accosted on a subway a few months back. I don't know what was going to happen. The guy was ready. I was ready too if he made a move. It looked like he was going to. The doors open. 2 police were there, saw what was going on, took him away. If they were not there, I don't know what was going to happen. I was ready, but I don't know what was going to happen. That goes on a lot in New York City. And he wants to defund the police. Go read up about it, ladies and gentlemen. That's all. That's my take. Voters, God bless them. They're not doing their homework. Unless they like people controlling their lives. And imagine if they ever ended up running the country. Go look what's happened to Venezuela, ladies and gentlemen. All right, we're done. You have a great evening. Drive carefully. And when you get home, do like we do. Quite simple. Make sure you hug your family. Make sure you hug your children. They will feel better. You will feel better. I promise. Stay well. Be well. Have a great one. Boy, I hope NVIDIA follows through. Good night.